Welcome to video number 5. This is what it feels like to work less and have less stress. Imagine that. I realize that sounds like a bold statement, but I promise you, this has been my own experience using and having evolved this very system that I'm teaching you now over many, many years. Now, I'll share with you my own experience, but then, as I've mentioned a few times throughout this series, I've had beta testers who only had access to the templates. They didn't have these videos because they're not around yet. And they've been playing around with it, and I've had them in our Slack community, which you're going to get access to when you sign up. And so they've had a lot of chances to just get me to answer questions that they've had about how to use things along the way. And eventually a few of them were kind enough to give me some comments, which I'm going to, in 2 cases, I'm going to read their comments to you so you can kind of hear it from someone else, you know, what their reaction is to what they've been exposed to so far. And then 2 of our beta testers were kind enough to actually give me video testimonials. So I'll sort of cut to those and, you know, let you see them share their own experience with you directly. But first, I want to explain to you what I experienced myself going into this year, 2023, based on what I had managed to achieve. Now, I think it's fair to say that anybody who knows me at all would probably not argue with the fact that I am one of the busiest people most people know. Right? I'm one of the busiest people I know, between managing clients and managing all the different courses I produce and communities that go with many of them and answering the questions that come up every single day. And I'm frequently told by people that they can't believe how quickly I am able to answer people's questions. I'm often thanked by people for getting back to them so quickly. So it has to beg the question, how do I do that? Right? And some people joke with me and say, do you sleep? And the answer is yes, I absolutely sleep. In fact, going into this year, I had developed what I started calling the rehab schedule, right? So when you go to rehab, your day is very, very, very structured, right? You wake up, let's say 7 a.m., you have an hour to clean your room, get dressed, get ready, showered, whatever, and then you're downstairs and getting breakfast, and then everybody would have house jobs, cleaning up a different area of the rehab facility or, some responsibility. And then there'd be group, and then there'd be a break, and so on and so forth. So every hour was accounted for throughout the whole entire day, right? And I said to myself, I remember that having that kind of structure felt good, because I didn't have to question throughout the day what I need to do next, right? It was spelled out for me. So I said, why not create that structure for myself right now? Many years sober and not having the need to be concerned about, having the kind of structure that I needed, 25 years ago when I was concerned about, slipping back into old patterns and habits. This is more about trying to, get some peace of mind or improve my peace of mind. And so I said, let me try this. And so I went out into my calendar ahead of time, and I started blocking off, time for different things, right? And so what resulted was a structure where my day pretty much started at 5 a.m., actually. In the beginning, I was getting up at 5 a.m. That first hour I spent hanging out on the sofa with the mighty goddesses, with my 2 dogs. And then somewhere between 6 and 7, I'd get up, shower, get dressed, get ready, and I would be at my desk having breakfast somewhere between 7 and 8, and I would do a 25-minute meditation, roughly. If I was pressed for time, then I would maybe just do 10, but I did something every day by way of meditation first thing in the morning. And then I'd start my day. And so my work day started, figure by 8 o'clock, the latest. And then I'd stop at 2 p.m., and that's when I'd go work out. So somewhere between 2, by the time I actually wound up and got into my little home gym, maybe it was 2:33 at the latest. But basically somewhere around, after 2 p.m., it was time to wrap up and go do my workout. Then 4 p.m., it was what we call goddess time, which is another hour of the day that we make it a point to spend with them. And it's amazing, by the way, if you've had dogs, if you've never had dogs, rescue some dogs and make sure you spend this kind of time bonding with them. It makes a huge difference, and it's really very special to me. And so we do that for about an hour, and then after that, about 5 o'clock, we're getting ready for dinner, and maybe I'll come back to my computer and just wrap a few things up, maybe write a few notes, update my journal, what have you. And then by 6 o'clock, it's, what I call like reading and relaxing time, right? So I might read a book. I might read a book like Getting Things Done, or I might read a book that's purely for pleasure. Or I might stream some shows on Netflix, what have you. And then usually by around 8:30, 9 p.m., I'm wrapping up, getting ready to go to bed, and then I do like a 10-minute meditation and then just kind of roll over and go to sleep at that point, only to get up the next day and do it again. And I did this for most of this year, and then at a certain point, I had to change the schedule around because it was getting hot out, and my home gym is basically my garage, and it's not insulated or well air conditioned. So I had to change the schedule around, and I did. So instead of getting up at 5, I now get up at 4. Right? Still spend that first hour with the goddesses. Between 5 and 6, I go work out. Right? By about 7 a.m., from there on, it picks up, and then instead of stopping at 2, since I got the workout done, I work pretty much right up until 4 p.m., and then the rest is basically the same. So the point is, how do I do this? I do this because of the systems that I have that I'm sharing with you and teaching you in these videos, and with this set of templates that I've built in Notion for how to just, this is how I keep track of everything. This is how I don't stress about worrying about when am I going to get this thing done. I have a system I can trust. I know how to check it. I reflect. I have a lot of periods of reflection throughout the day, every day, where I'm peeking in and deferring and looking at my next action items to see if there's anything in there that it's time I want to get it done and get it scheduled. I have a system that I can trust, so I don't stress out about it. I am totally fine with working just those few hours, right? 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now it's 8 a.m. till more like 4 p.m., right? That's not a lot of hours. Most people would probably guess I worked a lot more. And like I said, I'm in bed most nights by 8:30, 9 o'clock, so I get plenty of sleep. That gives me a good 7-8 hours of sleep, depending. So, my friends, this system has worked really well for me. I'm here to share it with you. And now I want to give you, some of the comments that, as I mentioned, others have made about this. So first I want to read the comment from my friend Ann Little. She wrote this in a Slack message, so I'm just going to read it to you off my screen. She said, "Hey, Seth, here's a review for your Notion course." She wants to know if there's anything more specific I'd like her to touch on. And then she says, Seth David's Bulletproof Notion system is my best find in years. His templates are meticulously designed to provide an amazing level of organization and are optimized for fast data retrieval. I've tried other apps and always felt like I had eaten my information. Well, no more. Seth's system is brilliant and flexible. It allows me to personalize my experience, to integrate my business workflows and personal family info all in one place. The Notion mobile app itself is incredibly intuitive, making it effortless to access information from my phone. It's like having a personal assistant with me all the time who always knows where everything is. If you've looked at Notion before and thought it was just too much to learn, that was me before Seth's system. He made diving into Notion accessible and even fun. He's smart, approachable, and just plain nice. He guides you step by step through a world of increased productivity and efficiency. I'm so grateful I found him. And Anne, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for such kind words. Next, I'm going to read you an email I received from my friend Daniel Lavender, who obviously is also in the program. And he says, 5 stars, 5 out of 5. He says, accountants and bookkeepers, most of us are fairly organized people. But what is more important is whether you are prioritized. Notion is an amazing tool because it is highly customizable, searchable, and able to solve a lot of different problems in one place, and Seth's Notion course will accelerate this process. Trust me, I wanted to use Notion but had no starting point for how to apply it to my life and business. Seth makes this so easy for you by creating the templates and providing the context for how you can use these every day to effectively prioritize your time and build a resource library for future use. His program has helped me. 1. Journal, developing my thoughts, scheduling my day, and learning from past mistakes. 2. Take notes, keeping a record of the best hacks, tips, and advice garnered from podcasts and books. 3. Maintain relationships, keeping a database of contacts and setting reminders to reach out periodically. 4. Get work done, developing tasks and recurring events to ensure no deadline is missed. 5. Document processes, creating a library of procedures so that your team easily knows what to do. It isn't a matter of whether you can afford this course, it's a matter of whether you can afford to miss out on this course. So, Daniel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Daniel and Ann are both members of my 97 and Up program. That's most of who is in the beta testers for this program. And next I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to share with you 2 videos from 2 other individuals who are in the course. One is Mariette Martinez, who's a good and very long-time friend. And the other one is Brenda Spandrio, who was introduced to me by Mariette. Mariette kind of referred her and, encouraged her to sign up for this. And she right out the gate just kind of dove right in, and I really appreciate Brenda's enthusiasm. She like I said, she just dove right in and started clearly working through the templates, asking a lot of questions, and nothing could make me in my position with respect to all of this happier than to see somebody like Brenda diving in. So you'll hear from her as far as what her reaction and experience is with these templates so far.
Hey everyone, Marriott Martinez here, and I am a longtime fan of Seth David. And I wanted to do a quick video on how Notion has truly transformed my life thanks to Seth's new Notion templates. So right now I'm on the hub. So he provides these done for you templates with his full course, and he teaches us how to have a central hub to really start our day. And from there, we're able to go even deeper into his templates. So I wanted to share what I have created in less than a month based on his course and his templates. So his templates are essentially where all the magic happened. That's where I actually call that my work hub. So if you see here, this is where all the magic is going to happen in several of his done for you templates. What I decided to do is I decided to rearrange all of his magic onto my first page, which is how I work. I love to have one page where I start my day, and from there, I'm able to go deeper into all the magic he's created. So for example, one of the habits that because of Seth, I have been gaining every day is this concept of journalizing every day. So I'm going to click on my daily journal. I click on my daily journal, and this is the daily journal he's created for us. And so he has created a template for us to be able to complete a journal every single day so we can pretty much write the account of our day and also add notes and other memorable moments for that day. The way he's really building this out, and I'm sure he's going to share all of the magic in his course and his templates, but essentially what he's doing is he's creating done for you templates for you, and then you can use those templates to use every day. So in other words, he's saving us the time than having to get an empty space and create an empty page, which is what my struggle has always been with Notion, is starting from scratch. Instead, when I come in here to new, I just click on new. I already have my day ready for me. I open that up and I can basically start accounting for my entire day. One thing that I absolutely also love about this experience in Notion that Seth is creating is that even though he's creating his own version of the Notion template, so let me just show you a quick example. If I come in here and I actually go to his original daily journal, his original daily journal looks like this. So it looks a little different. The background is a bit different. What he's asking from us will be a little bit different. But what I can do is I can go and use his same template. So you can see here, he also provides amazing instructions on exactly what needs to be done for each section. He really helps us drive some intentionality around our day from the beginning of the day when we wake up all the way to the end. However, what I decided to do is I decided to make it my own. So if you look at what my daily journal looks like, it looks a bit different. Obviously, I love color. So I'm going to go ahead and use my lovely pinks and purples. I'm going to use my emojis, and I'm going to basically use the format that best fits my daily process. But I was able to use his template to essentially customize it to me. And pretty much every template he's creating for us is that same rationale. I'll give you one more example. He has a template on your customer relationship management system, also known as your CRM system. So I decided to obviously use his customer relationship management template, but I changed the name a little bit. MYB Master Your Books is my company. So these are the MYB humans I want to work with. And this is kind of the layout of the database. And let's say I have a new contact I want to add in. Of course, I'm going to use all the fields he's already created for us, but I can always add some more stuff of my own. So again, right now we are at the very beginning of learning Notion and of getting into these amazing templates Seth has created for us. So as I learn more, I will be able to build this out even more. And so that's pretty much how I've been using Seth's Notion templates and his amazing course. I can't wait for you to get in so you can share with us how you're using it as well. Bye for now.
My name is Brenda Spandrio, and I was privileged to get early access to Seth's templates for Notion. I come from a background of being a declutter and a productivity consultant. So I've been exposed to all of the different products out there, Trello, Asana, ClickUp, and they're all good. They all have their uses. But the difference between all of those and using the bulletproof Notion templates is the difference between getting an unfurnished apartment and moving into a house that's fully furnished. You still have to do some things to get set up to tailor it to be your own, but these templates enable you to have a jumping off point in order to create what you need for yourself. I've not been able to devote large blocks of time to learning all about Notion and even the templates, but with what I've been exposed to in just a short period of time, I've been able to put things in a place where I can find them again. My to-dos are all in one place. I know where to put my thoughts so I don't lose them instead of opening a myriad of different other applications that I have access to. I really do encourage people to get on board with Seth in particular, because he has a track record of having explored all the others in depth rather than just getting a little taste of it and saying, oh, this doesn't work. I understand that he has devoted himself to a lot of study into the other options that are out there. But to me, the customizability of this product and his templates make it heads and shoulders above anything else I've tried. So I would really encourage you to check it out.
So now you've heard from my good friend Mariette Martinez and Brenda, who Mariette referred to me after she had been checking out these templates for a while. Actually, I gave a presentation to Mariette's latest cohort, the group of people that she took through her MYB program. And I think every person, with maybe one exception, who was in the group ended up joining this beta test because I invited them to after presenting, sort of a rough overview of what was here. So you heard it from them as well as from me as far as, what's going on with the Bulletproof Notion work management system. And I hope you'll check it out. In the next video, I'm going to give you the instructions for how to get an unfair advantage as far as making sure that you can get into the first group 1 of this program, which is going to be the first 100 people who sign up, or when the 1 week sort of sales period closes, whichever comes first. So stay tuned. I'll release that video in the next couple of days, and then you'll get the instructions. You'll know exactly how to be ready at the exact right moment when the email goes out to let everyone know, hey, it's time. You can sign up. Let's do this. So like I said, stay tuned for that video coming to you in just the next couple of days.